Good afternoon. Happy Friday to you all. This is Shad Didi Laser, and I'm doing some whiteboarding session for a client, just brainstorming, getting some ideas together to help to leverage technology to enhance overall business operations. And while going through the whiteboarding session and setting things up, I had some ideas that I wanted to share with you based on some posts that I've read and some information and conversations that I've had this week. As you may or may not know, I am the architect of the official websites of the state of Maryland, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and the state of Wisconsin. So I have a gift and a knack for taking requirements and technology and putting it together in a way that users can consume, just to keep things in 100% layman's terms, not to get too techy. Now, with today's session, what we're going to do is I'm going to share with you some of the key components, just a few. This is very quick, some key components that your website needs in order to attract sponsorship. Sponsorship is the golden unicorn or the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow that many businesses struggle to land or to attract or even have a predictable process to acquire. And for many event organizers, for many solopreneurs, for many business owners, brick and mortar business owners and online businesses who have great ideas but need that capital or that investment from sponsors in order to get to the proverbial next level, these tips will help you. So I'm going to switch our board here, and what we have is a sketch of a website. Now I have some flyouts, meaning if you click a particular link, this is what the page should look like. So these are all proven. I've been gaining sponsorships for the past 17 years, and I have a few organizations such as Baltimore SharePoint that operate entirely off of a sponsorship model. So this is relevant information. These are tips that I use each and every day that will help you benefit as well. So first of all, what your website needs. There's many schools of thought in terms of gaining sponsorship. Do you actually need a website or do you not? If you're going to deal with corporate sponsorships, nationwide sponsorships, your McDonald's, your Chick-fil-A's, you know, the big time sponsors where the corporate office is somewhere else, you definitely need a website in order to be taken seriously. There's no non-negotiable with that. So what I'm sharing with you are some of the elements that you need on your website. So what you see here, step all the way back, made this very big, it's a huge whiteboard, is this is a website. And first things first, what you want to have, this is something that has been working very well for me in 2016, is what you see here is a hyperlink called Big Picture. So the psychological aspects of sponsorship is that your client or your particular sponsors are not necessarily giving you money for the sake of just giving you money. The sponsors that invest in you long term actually see a vision in what you're presenting, and they feel like they're the missing piece to help you get it over the hump. So it's basically them lending you a hand to get to the next level. But in order to acquire that, you have to provide them with the story, the vision. If they feel like they're giving you the story or they're doing your market research, your sponsorship efforts will not work well for you. But if you're able to convey the big picture through what I'm going to illustrate, then your sponsorship efforts will become a lot easier. So from big picture, we go over to basically a campaign. And what your campaign has to be is basically a breakdown of why you're doing what you're doing. So if, for example, I think Seneca joined the broadcast, if I'm not mistaken. So Seneca's a guy I grew up with who went to the NFL and became part of basically a team of pro players, former players who do work in the community. So in his particular case, he can take his business, which he's currently running, and tie that into a philanthropic concept or campaign or vehicle. So what these are different images of different charitable events, whether you're hosting, let's say, a Thanksgiving turkey drive or a canned food drive, so on and so forth. And here we have an opt-in. So if you want more information on that campaign, enter your email here and stay connected. So what that does is you start to give basically various messages of the campaign, sharing news, notes, and updates based on that information. So what does this do? It provides the big picture to the sponsor that, whoa, this individual is bigger than most of their partners that they work with or their competitors within their given field, and they actually have a vision in terms of not only are they doing what they're doing with clients or with that particular event, but there's actually a vehicle behind it to contribute to the greater good. Sponsors love to contribute to the greater good. I have a whole breakdown in a course that I'm working on where I take you through basically the profile of the mindset of all the sponsors that I've dealt with, and I deal with sponsors all the time. And their mindset is that they do want to contribute to a greater goal, a bigger picture, not necessarily dollars and cents, just think in terms of feel-good moments. Does that make sense to you? Yes. So we're going to move forward. Now, really quickly, the next section, you see TEST, that is short for testimonials. What you need are basically demonstrated moments of credibility indicators, and basically social proof. So social proof helps with sponsorships because, again, no one likes to eat in an empty restaurant. No one wants to take a chance financially with someone who isn't proven. A sponsor or someone who has the capital to give to power your dream will feel burned in a sense if they're giving to somebody who is a hit or miss. But if you're a person who has managed what you have as operating expenses thus far, and you've provided the big picture, and you've worked with other people, and other people, most importantly, favorably are willing to publicly align themselves with your business, your brand, your ideas, your concepts, then you are well on your way to gaining sponsorship, basically sponsorship rainfall, where you have to get an umbrella because so much sponsorship attention and energy is falling upon you. So what I have here is a testimonial. This is a video testimonial, and I have the word bubble here from cartoons. I love working with Quincy Prather, for example. Thank you for tuning in. Quincy is a great chief in the Navy, and he cares about his soldiers and his troops, his sailors. And just to give you an example, so if someone is willing to partner with you in terms of testimonials, this is a huge credibility indicator. So video is just one example of testimonials. What you also would benefit from is a written testimonial. So what I have here is text, and what we have here is a person. Excuse my artwork. But it's important to have a face to go along with the text, because what that provides you is, again, credibility. An actual person on the internet is very easy to hide behind personas and profiles, but if you have real people, real names, real titles, this brings your credibility to life. So once again, big picture. Make sure you're tying that into a campaign, a vehicle, basically the why behind the what, or the community, the philanthropic vehicle behind your skills, your knowledge, your abilities, and also testimonials. And of testimonials, you want to have video testimonials, you want to have written testimonials visible on your site. Next, we have a hyperlink that says view our partners here. This is very important. This ties into the whole concept of social proof, and no one wants to eat at an empty restaurant, or no one wants to party in an empty nightclub. The reason why nightclubs play around sometimes on Friday and Saturday night with the basically going into the front door and checking in, they'll delay it for a bit to build that anticipation, so that when people drive by and they see a long line, that must be the place to party tonight. Social proof is very powerful when you're trying to sell a concept, and in this particular case, when you're trying to gain sponsorship energy. So, if you are partners here, we'll fly out to our partners page. Now, what this is basically 9 logos. So you have your what's called a splash page, and it's just a page of various logos. You want to make sure that the logos are high quality, high resolution. Don't try your best not to take logos from the internet, but try to get them directly from the source. You can reach out to people that you've worked with, and you can say, okay, I want to feature you on my partners page. We've done business before. And your partners can actually come from your testimonials. So that's one source that you can utilize and put them on your partners page. So let's say a common question that I will receive in this particular case is, Shadid, I'm just getting started and I don't have a bunch of clients. You can utilize your affiliates, meaning people within your industry that know, like, and support you in your partners page. You can use your vendors that you work with as your partners. So if there are local businesses that you work with and support, then those can be your partners until you fill those in. It's not necessarily being dishonest, because your partners don't necessarily have to be people you spent money with, but people you're in alignment with, people that support your vision. Again, when it comes to the power of this concept is that it's public alignment, public partnership, public teaming, and that partnership, that collective energy is strength in numbers, and that is what sponsors want to see when they're looking to invest in you, the ideal business owner, the event organizer, so on and so forth. Whether your business is brick and mortar, whether you're working a full-time job and you're putting together an event series, whether you're hosting a poetry event, all of these particular concepts work across the board. I've used them across many different sectors. And finally, CS stands for case studies. And what case studies are demonstrated problem, solution, tools, technology, and you're listing successful case studies that you've utilized where you've taken your particular skills and applied them to a particular business problem. Does that make sense? So case studies, I recommend that you render those in PDF format. You can also create a page within your content management system and simply build the page with that particular case study. But I like to use PDF for my case studies because then the sponsor, who always is going to take your information, whether it's email, so on and so forth, sponsorship packet, to someone else to make a decision, the PDF makes that 10 times easier because they can print it out and then they can take it to the person who is making the decision. Stephen Fowler, this CS stands for case studies, and we were talking about that last night. The topic at hand here is about what essential elements your website needs for sponsorship. So case studies, Stephen submitted 6 case studies to his website last night, and in our previous broadcast or Facebook Live discussion. And case studies are very important in terms of credibility indicator. No one likes to eat in an empty restaurant, as I've said 3 or 4 times in this broadcast. So credibility in the form of, and I will review from the very beginning. Let's take it all the way back, whiteboarding session. So we have here, I know you can't see it all, so I'm going to zoom in for those of you who have just tuned in. You want the big picture. Sponsors need to understand, and you have to do a great job of conveying that aside from your clients and aside from your brick and mortar business or your numbers and your list, they need to know that they are investing into a vehicle that is moving. And by movement, one of the most powerful ways to display movement is through philanthropic or charitable vehicles of giving. So I always recommend that you pick a cause that makes the most sense to you and you create a campaign around it that is in alignment with your talents, your vision, and what you can support in full integrity. So this is a breakdown of different campaigns. Excuse my artwork here. Had to put this together quickly. This is an opt-in, which will take the viewer to an email campaign or an autoresponder campaign, basically a know, like, and trust campaign where you're educating and sharing and enlightening your audience based on what you're doing in the community. This is very powerful and also very enticing and attractive to sponsors, because nowadays, basically, social philanthropy is very popular with companies, and the realistic accounting part of this is that each and every year companies are looking to find people like you to partner with in order to help them out for tax purposes. So you want to take advantage of that. Next is testimonials. Here we have an example of video testimonial, very important. We also have written testimonials. So what you want to include with your written testimony, you want to include a headshot or some sort of image of an actual person, not a logo, not a symbol, but an actual person, an actual title. In the age of internet, it's very easy to hide behind social profiles, and this is one area where you want to be as factual as possible. Testimonials are a huge part of social proof in terms of website and conveying that proof to a visitor to your site. Next is a hyperlink, which flies out to our partners page. You want to have a splash page consisting of various logos. Those logos can open up in a new tab and show basically what those companies are about. To keep the traffic on your page, I recommend that you link to a page, take the extra step and link to a page within your website that talks about your partnership with that particular company, when it started, and basically the impact that it's had on your business and theirs as well, or the greater good that has been caused from it. And finally, case studies. And as I mentioned, case studies are another huge credibility indicator, and that helps for companies who are looking to sponsor you to clearly understand your vision and also where you're looking to go and what you've done and who you work with that will sing your praises. Once again, I'm Shadidi Laser. This has been a quick video on some tips that your website can utilize, proven tips from me to you on what your website will need in terms of elements, in terms of features to entice, attract, and ultimately land sponsors without cold calling, without sending out random emails to some marketing director that you've never met. If you follow these tips and strategies and make it part of your overall business processes, I promise you that you will increase your sponsorships. Sponsorships will start to fall out of the sky. I run a few organizations, Baltimore SharePoint Users Group being one of them, which has been around for over close to 10 years now and has operated entirely on sponsorship, donations, partnerships, alliances, and affiliations. Once again, Shadi checking in. Have a great and powerful weekend. Make a difference and have some balance in your life. Keep family first and have a great day. Over and out.